Premier Racing Setups is the longest-running setup shop
The
on
most
iRacing.
realistic
Our
online
monthly
racing
subscription
sim
options
ever
start
made.
as low as $20 a
This
month. We
is-
offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to the famed paperclip in Roanoke, Virginia, also known as the Martinsville Speedway. My name, Upstate Al, alongside my good friend Kelly Dahl, who's down at the hot dog concession. He's picking up a few of those neon red hot dogs. But tonight, we bring you to round number 5, the halfway point of the Late Model Stock Star Series here for the North-South Racing League for the running of the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125. And it's all being brought to us by Mortensen Auto Repair. Is your bumper-to-bumper network to provide comprehensive auto services on a basic maintenance and complex repairs. Kyle and his team will provide efficient, kind, and reasonably priced services to the residents of Brooklyn, Wisconsin, and the surrounding communities. To schedule your appointment today, give Mortensen Auto Repair a call at 608-455-3621. Mortensen Auto Repair. Do you need your graphics for your league or your next event? Well, head on over to RC2 Graphics Solutions, where it's your events, our designs. ZooFab Garage, they can put that high-performance update into your street car or hot rod to make it go even faster. Head on over to ZooFab Garage today. SimRacerHub.com, where leagues keep it organized. Arbor Systems provides residential and commercial tree services for the Madison and surrounding areas. Since 2001, Arbor System has helped residential and commercial properties with their tree service needs. We specialize in pruning, removal, stump grinding, emergency tree work, cabling, and bracing, and all the overall care of trees. You can give them a call today and call Chris at 608-575-5210. That is Arbor Systems at 608-575-5210. J&D Farms and Mad Plowing here is proud sponsor of the late model stock division, and Mad Plowing is your go-to landscaping company in the Oregon-Wisconsin area. During the winter times, they specialize in snow removal, but during these spring and summer months, they are your mowing service provider. Whether it's clearing your driveway or keeping your lawns pristine, they've got you covered all year long. Mad Plowing, give them a call today, 608-217-3528 for all your landscaping needs. Well, Kelly, we are here for one of our most favorite races of the season, the Kendall Hacker Memorial, and it's at one of our favorite racetracks, the Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, a fantastic racetrack here in Martinsville. Always puts on some great racing, always some very fiery racing, because as everyone I'm sure is well aware, there is one line around this place, and it is on the bottom, right up against that curb. Everyone is going to be fighting for position. But I mean, these drivers, there's a lot of give and take. There's a lot of respect throughout this field. I'd expect them to really be on their best behavior, but we are getting ready to go into qualifying here. Dylan Connor has been dominating the Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award qualifying.
4 for 4 on the season.
Yeah, we're gonna have to wait and see if he's gonna be able to do it once again.
That we will, as we get ready wait for some cars to get up on the racetrack. And it looks like our first taker is going to be the number 91 of Adam Gable, and Gable coming down here in a beautifully prepared red, white, and blue number 91 here tonight, as he will take and work off of turn number 2 and work down the backstretch. Kelly, what are the keys here? This track is an oval, but almost races a lot like a road course, doesn't it?
I'd say it almost races like a drag strip. You have two drag strips side by side, connected by just that tiny little, or those tiny little corners. And the big thing is just getting a good exit off of those corners, being able to defend the inside and not allowing someone to just dive up the inside going into the corners. But waiting to see some of our first times coming across the board. Justin McDuff currently the fastest with a 20.036. And we'll see if these drivers are going to be faster on the second lap tonight, or if it is going to be a first lap night. But looks like Justin McDuff was not able to improve. I think he may have tagged the wall at some point, but he is still going to hang on to that top spot. Dan Janjanin going to take it over, though, by just 0.02 of a second, 20.034.
20 point there as we watch the 73 of Robbie Clevey working around the speedway, and Clevey putting lap number 1 into the books, so did not get a time there. So this will be his second time as Gary Eschen goes 5th overall, as the time starting to come in hot and heavy here for Al's Speed Shop qualifying. Clevey comes across the line. He'll go 11th quick with a 20.388. Last week's winner, the 54, Brandon Elvis, up onto the racetrack. And, well, you might be asking, well, when we went off the air, Kelly, it was in question and in review. Won't go into too much details, but Brandon Elvis was declared the winner. He'll have to start at the tail of the field here tonight.
Yeah, it means he is going to have a tough path ahead of him, and it may be almost a little bit better for Dylan Condon to have that win taken away, because now he does not have to worry about the EOL. So JJ McRae was able to go up to second place here with a 19.974. Brandon Elvis was able to put down a 20.004, even though he will not be able to get into the the top 8 redraw. He will be eligible for qualifying points. That's why the drivers that had EOLs will still go out there and still set a time. Number of drivers coming out on the racetrack now here. The last few drivers remaining with 2 minutes left on the clock. Rodney Huntoon goes 3rd quick with a 19.991.
Yeah, some fast times right now closing in here as Jan Janin up at the top with a 19.958. Huntoon with a 991. Dustin Shepard will jump to the 9th spot overall, and Huntoon, lap number 2, will be a little bit slower. Here comes the fastest man in Al Speed Shop qualifying up onto the racetrack. Car number 90 of Dylan Connor, and he is looking to go 5 for 5, but he's going to have to beat Rob Donaldson, who goes to the top of the board with a 19.951.
Yeah, we'll have to keep an eye on Dylan Connor. Is he going to be able to beat that time? Bryan Hacker actually just beat it, though, with a 19.912. And Dylan Connor, first lap, a slow lap, just trying to get those tires up to temperature. Now coming through turns 3 and 4. How is this time going to compare to that top time of Bryan Hacker? Will Dylan Connor do it again? Coming across the line, waiting to see what that time is going to be. It is a 19.897.
He goes top of the board here tonight with a 19.897 to claim 5th Al Speed Shop Fast Time Awards. Will it relay into the race here tonight? And your top 8 cars will all make it into that top, redraw here. So Huntoon, Shepard, McRae, Austin, Janjanin, Donaldson, Hacker, and Connor. Your top 8 cars will all go into tonight's redraw. Brandon Elvis qualifies 10th. He'll have to drop to the rear. 21 cars, Kelly, for the Kendall Hacker Memorial. And it is going to be tough sledding coming from the back of the pack here tonight.
Yeah, it is going to be a huge gaggle of cars for the number 54 to be able to get through here. Brandon Elvis is going to have a struggle tonight. We're going to see how well he's going to be able to do. How many of those spots is he going to be able to claw back? But it's going to be tough here. As we've mentioned, it's Martinsville. There's not a lot of places to pass. The only way you can make a pass for the most part is getting up the inside and forcing that pass going into the corners.
That it will. And right now we're headed into our favorite time of the night. It is the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw, where we will find out who will draw that dreaded number 8 or the number 1 in any spot in between. All coming up here as we randomly set up tonight's redraw here. Kelly, this is one of my favorite parts of the night, but it all want to be possible without the self-proclaimed redneck that just wanted to see his name on there. And he has been a supporter over these last 3 seasons with the North-South Racing League, and we can't thank him for being a true legend of the North-South Racing League. So J&D Farms, tonight's top 8 redraw, as we get ready to go with that. As we get ready to go with tonight's race redraw. First up, we will talk with the man, the myth, and the legend of the Fast Time Awards. 5 for 5 this season, Dylan. Man, you got a fast hot rod once again here at Martinsville. What's it going to take to put this car in victory lane here tonight?
No mistakes. That's going to be the number one thing. I took myself out of a win last week, and it was nobody else's fault but my own. I made a lot of mistakes that I shouldn't have, and just clearing up those mistakes and following the same game plan, I think I'll have a good chance.
All right, so you know the drill by now. You are the fastest man, so you get the first pick of the litter. 1 through 8 is the numbers you can choose from out of this hat. Which one would you like?
We'll try number 6 this week.
Number 6 this week, and it is coming off the board, and it is going to be an inside starting spot, but all the way back on row number 4, starting P7 here tonight. Dylan, how tough is it going to be to get to the front?
It's going to be a challenge for sure. I think the inside will definitely help. I think early in the race, I think you'll be able to make passes on the inside for sure. So that's a good thing. And like I said, just keeping the nose clean and not making the same mistakes that I did last week. And I think we'll have a shot.
All right, so we wish you the best of luck. We'll be watching that 90 car as you come up through the field here tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Dylan Connor going to roll off P number 7, Kelly, after getting his 5th consecutive Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award.
Yeah, but now we are going to catch up with Bryan Hacker here, 2nd place on the night, but 1st place in the championship standings. Bryan, you've opened up a bit of a gap, but we're at the halfway point now. How is your mindset for the tail end of this season?
Yeah, just got to survive and try to get the best finish we can. Of course it's good to get wins, but just continue doing what we've been doing and trying to land on the podium or top 5s every week. And this is a tough track, and I think it's going to be a tough field tonight. So, again, top 3 or top 5 would be a great run for us tonight.
Well, Dylan took the number 6 off the board. Other than that, 1 through 8, what would you like here tonight?
Normally I don't pick my own number, but I guess tonight's the night to do it, so I'll go number 2.
Taking number 2 off the board. It is going to be an outside starting spot, but it is the 2nd row, P4 here tonight. Do you think it's more vital to have gotten an inside row, or do you not mind because you're so far up the field?
Yeah, I would like to start on the inside, but we'll see how it plays out. If we can find a gap and shoot down, I think we'll be all right, but just got to be patient and not try to force it.
All right, well, good luck to you, Bryan. Hopefully we'll be talking to you a little bit later on tonight if you can find your way up to that podium.
Thanks, man.
So Bryan Hacker draws an outside starting spot, but it is only row 2, a P4 start here for the number 2 machine.
Yes, sir. And headed to our 3rd fastest qualifier, the 00 of Rob Donaldson. And Rob, you've had some fast race cars this season. Is Lady Luck not on your side? Can you change that here tonight at Martinsville?
I'm hoping so, man. I did a lucky dance out in the yard earlier, so hopefully that works.
I hope it does. This racetrack, one of my favorites. I always struggled here as a driver, just never could really get into the niche of it. But, so far, the pole, the front row still available. Numbers that have already been chosen are 6 and 2. What number would you like?
Let's go with number 3 again. Let's see what happens.
Number 3. Going to do it for Dale, and he is going to start on the outside of the front row, that outside starting spot. You think it'll be okay, or are you going to have to try to ride to get to that bottom as fast as possible?
I think early going, you want to be on the bottom, so it's going to be tough to try to get down with this tight of a field.
Yes, sir. Well, we wish you the best of luck, Rob, and congratulations on making it once again to the top 8 redraw presented by J&D Farms.
Appreciate it.
All right, so Rob Donaldson going to roll off P number 2, Kelly, after choosing the number 3. You'll catch up now with another man, I would say, in the running for most improved this season, Dan Janjanin.
Yeah, here catching up now with Dan Janjanin. And Dan, what do you think it's going to take tonight, not just to do well in this race, but to survive 125 laps of Martinsville?
Protect that inside line.
Protect the inside line, of course. That is always going to be the key here at Martinsville Speedway. And going to our redraw now. The numbers we have got left on the board: 1, 4, 5, 7, and 8. And the pole is still out there.
1.
All right, we'll take number 1 off the board. It's going to be a P6 starting spot, a little bit further back and on the outside. I mean, what is going to be your strategy for trying to find the bottom right off the bat?
Bank on someone getting rear-ended and you just squeeze down there.
All right, well, let's wait and see if that's going to be a good opportunity, or that opportunity is going to present itself to you, and hopefully we'll be talking to you a little bit later on. Good luck to you, Dan.
Thanks.
So Dan Janjanin draws one of the dreaded outside row spots towards the back, and I think the only outside row we've got left is P8.
Yeah, the back one, which nobody wants to start there, but someone's going to have to. And hopefully it won't be this man, the driver of the number 5 of Scott Austin, as he makes it back into the top 8 redraw once again this season. And Scott, another short track on the list here. You know you can get it done here, but it is also very easy to get in trouble here at Martinsville, isn't it?
It is. It's hard to pass here unless 2 lanes start to become apparent. So we'll see. Hopefully nobody gets ambitious and starts using the bumper too soon, and we'll do what we do and be there at the end.
All right, sir. Well, we've got a few numbers left here to choose from. We've got the 4, the 5, the 7, and the 8 left to choose from. What number would you like?
I'll always take 5.
He's going to take 5, and that's going to be a good one to take here tonight, as that will be the pole. You're going to lead the field to the green flag for the Kendall Hacker 125 here tonight, Scott. What's it going to take to be able to stay up there? We know they're going to at least maybe a pit stop or 2. What's it going to take to keep that 5 in contention?
Yeah, this will be a good start. We'll hopefully kind of help control the race. You know, maybe not last time I sat on the pole, didn't last there very long. So hopefully tonight goes a little bit different. We'll try to pace the field and, you know, just stay clean up at the front. It should be a little easier. Kind of cool. We got to put this thing out front, got Kendall's colors on the car this week. So, yeah, happy to see that, get some airtime.
All right, sir. Well, congratulations on grabbing that pole here in the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw. Hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this one.
Thanks, you guys.
All right, Scott Austin going to lead us to the green flag, Kelly. There's a few spots left to choose.
Yeah, and up next here for the redraw is going to be JJ McCrae, driver of the number 77. And JJ, how has the car been feeling for you in the corners here tonight?
Been feeling pretty good. If you drive it in a little deeper than you mean, it can really tighten the car up. But as long as you keep the entry backed up a little bit, keep it free through the middle, you can get out and get down the straight pretty well.
All right, well, bad news for you. The pole has been taken. However, the good news, of the 3 spots left, only one of them is on the outside row. The numbers you have tonight are 4, 7, and 8.
I'm going to go with 7.
All right, we'll take number 7 off the board. It is not that outside row. It is going to be inside. It'll be P5 for you here tonight. I mean, how excited are you to just start on the inside for this initial start?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited for it. It seems hard on tires, so we'll start down there and try and hold our lane up and keep us moving and try and see if we can be there towards the end.
All right, well, we'll let you go, let you get ready to go to the grid. Good luck, JJ.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
So JJ McCrae is going to roll off in P5, and all we've got left now is 3rd and 8th.
3rd and 8th is where one of these drivers are going to choose from, and that is the driver of the Zoo Fab Garage number 89. This is Dustin Shepard, and Dustin, another fast hot rod here at Martinsville Speedway. The biggest question I have for you is how many hot dogs have you put down?
I think 89.
80? Wow. We're going to have EMTs check you out if you've had 89 of these
hurting.
hot dogs.
I'm hurting.
Man, you got a 50-50 shot. You got a third starting spot available and an eighth starting spot available. And the numbers to choose from are 4 or number 8. What number would you like?
Well, I'm just going to go 8.
Gonna go 8. Well, I think you add one more hot dog to your list there, and you get a little bit more left side weight to get that through there. You're gonna be starting on the outside of row number 4, P number 8 for you. So just a little bit there. 125 laps here at Martinsville. A lot can happen. And we know that the bumper is probably going to be come into play at some point here tonight. How hard is it to keep your temper under control here, especially with how tight these racing conditions are?
Sometimes it's pretty tough, but I mean, it's all who you're racing, I guess. Somebody's going to get mad. Somebody's going to get either run at the track, and then somebody's going to drive into somebody. It's going to happen tonight because it's Martinsville, and everybody wants to run good here.
It sure is. Well, we'll let you go. Time is tight. Best of luck, Dustin. Hopefully we'll talk to you at the end of this one.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Dustin Shepard will roll off P number 8, which puts this man in P number 3, and you'll talk to him real quick, Kelly.
Yeah, I'm going to catch up real quick with Rodney Huntoon. You may have just seen it be announced here. It is a P3 starting spot for you here tonight. Not only on the inside row, but the second row at that. How excited are you for that starting spot?
Well, hopefully I can stay up there. Inside going to be key at the beginning of this race.
All right, well, we are going to be going to the grid. We will let you go real quick here. Good luck, Rodney.
Thank you.
So as mentioned, Rodney Huntoon will roll off in P3, and these drivers are already getting ready to go to the going to the grid.
That they are as the field starts to populate behind the drive of that pace car as the spotter camera looks down on the number 2 of Bryan Hacker as the field will start to populate. This will be your starting lineup for the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125 right here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. And starting on the pole will be car number 5. That is Scott Austin. Outside of him in car number 00, it is Rob Donatan. Your third starter here tonight out of Vermont will be car number 12 of Rodney Huntoon. The Huntley, Illinois driver, the number 2 of Bryan Hacker, will roll off in P number 4. Your fifth starter, it will be Canada's J.J. McRae. And outside of him, car number 2 of Dan Janjanin. Your fourth and final row for the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw will be Dylan Connor and Dustin Shepard. Starting 9th here tonight will be Scott Negus in car number 55. Qualifying 10th was Brandon Elvis. Justin McDuff and Chuck Sweeting round out your first 6 rows.
Chad McLeod will be rolling off in 13th. 14th, we'll see the 23 of Gary Eschen. Braden Campbell rolls in 15th, though I believe he may have missed the call to the grid. Brandon Atkinson rolls off 16th. 17th is the 09 of Josh Cole. Adam Gable in 18th. 19th sees Josh Nelms. Brian Schroyer in 20th. 21st, Robbie Clavey. And then, as mentioned, Brandon Elvis getting the EOL for winning last week.
That he will, is that will do it for there. As you see, Bryan Hacker up at the front of the field, leading them around as this is in honor of his late daughter, Kendall Hacker. And as you know, North-South Racing League has always had inclusion, camaraderie, and care to its core. Well, tonight we honor Kendall Hacker with the running of the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125. You can get in on this as out there on if you're watching on YouTube, and just head on over and we're doing a raffle or a waffle, if you want to call it, for the Kendall Hacker Scholarship Fund. 75-25 waffle. Fans, drivers, and outsiders alike are able to purchase numbers 1 through 125 for a chance at a 25% total pot. The other 75% will be donated to the Kendall Hacker Scholarship Foundation. Spots are $5 each, or 5 spots for $20. You can get your spots on the waffle by sending money to PayPal to the North-South Racing League at gmail.com, or at atmosphericrobbie@gmail.com. We have all that information right here in the YouTube chat. It's a great honor here as we get to honor our friend Bryan Hacker and his family with the Kendall Hacker Memorial. This race was circled on mine there, Kelly, and it's a great thing that this league does, and they support everybody that comes in here tonight. You know, and they really stuck together, and the league really helped get the Hacker family, you know, through such a tough time.
Yeah, and Bryan Hacker right now coming over the radio, thanking all the drivers for this, thanking the league, saying how much it means to his family, and really just shows the camaraderie among these drivers that are in this league. They all show up and will donate to something like this.
Absolutely, and you know, just announced was it a week or two ago, Bryan Hacker welcoming his third member of the family, as him and his wife have a beautiful baby girl at home now, as they will get back into line as we get ready to go with the green flag of the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125. Pull those belts tight one last time, Kelly, as we get ready to go racing.
Yeah, keep an eye on some of those fast drivers starting a little bit further back.
It is late medal showtime!
And we are green here for the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125 as the field barrels down into turn one. Donaldson with a good start down on the outside, holding court very well on the outside of Scott Austin. They will race door to door into turns 3 and 4 for the first time here tonight in the first two rows, side by side. But it looks like Scott Austin, or was it Donaldson, leading lap number 1?
Scott Austin by the blink of an eye, and now coming through turn 2, he is going to start to pull ahead of Rob Donaldson. Just behind them, Bryan Hacker was somehow able to manage to hang around on the outside and get himself into third. But now Rob Donaldson having to drop back. He will slot into second, get himself into line. And we have already begun the conga line, single file pretty much through the field. First driver to be stuck on that high side is the 75 of Chuck Sweeting. And we have got our first caution of the night, which I think happened a little bit further back in the field.
Yellow flag coming out, and not seeing it, Kelly. Do you see what triggered it? I don't see who was involved with our first slowdown of the night here.
Oh, coming over the radio, it was an accidental press from the administration. So race control pressing the wrong button, yellow lights coming on. So we will get everyone slotted back together here, tighten them back up, and we will get an opportunity for our first choose cone of the night.
That we will. We'll get them all stacked up here in the choose cone, along with the yellow flag presented by our great friends at Mad Plowing, and they are serving the Oregon-Wisconsin area for all your landscaping needs this spring and summer, whether it's pickups or making those lawns look nice every week. Give them a call today at 608-217-3528 for all those landscaping needs. Mad Plowing, the proud sponsor of our yellow flags, along with the choose cone, which will be coming up momentarily as Coney will get up onto the racetrack. Are they choosing this time by? I believe so, right, Kelly?
I think so. We'll see. Either everyone chose the inside, or we were not at the choose cone that time.
A lot of people chose the inside, it looks like, Kelly. That's going to be my... I'm just going to... Let's just roll with it. Let's see what happens. I believe that was supposed to be the choose cone, but we'll see. I think we'll add a lap and do it this time.
Race control is chatting over the radio, trying to figure out what's going to be the most fair. I think they may sounds like they're going to go single file. So because it was an accidental caution flag, looks like our driver's going to go single file.
Okay.
Though it looks like they did go, yeah, that is now official. It will be single file for this restart.
So Scott Austin will lead us back to the green flag, and I think that's a fair enough call. Don't want to get anybody hung up on that outside that doesn't need to be.
Yep. And I believe we are going to go green this time. Yeah, pace truck down into the safety of pit road. We're going to get this back underway. Scott Austin going to lead the field. Rob Donaldson right behind him. Teammate Bryan Hacker waiting as well. Scott Austin fires off of turn 4. He's going to get a good jump down the front straightaway. Down into turn 1. He will be completely uncontested. And we are back underway.
That we will as they work down here, down the back stretch, and the field single filed out just like it was before that yellow flag were to be out. Scott Austin out front leading as they all work here. It looks like Braden Campbell's had pulled the 33 behind the pit wall. Kelly looks like unable to get that car fired, had trouble here tonight, so a tough break for the 33 of Campbell.
Yeah, I just want to check in on Brandon Elvis. He had to take the EOL after winning last week. He's already up to 16th place, so just that quick little run there before the green flag, and he was still able to manage to jump 4 other cars. But still a long road ahead of him as everyone seems to be single filed out right now. And one driver that was thankful for that accidental caution, that was the 75 of Sweeting, who is stuck on the outside and looked like he was going to be dropping all the way back. And actually he did drop back. I think, he came down pit road. I did not realize that. Under caution, Chuck Sweeting came down. Maybe a quick top up of fuel, some sort of strategy call here.
Yeah, Sweeting back there in the 19th spot. It just gotten around the Troyer number 36 car as Adam Gable starts to put pressure on the 00 of Josh Nelms. That's the battle for the 16th spot. A little bit further up there, Scott Negus on the attack. He'll work underneath the 89 of Shepard. He's trying to bring along the 20 of Justin McDuff. McDuff in the 20 works to the inside. Shepard tries to slam the door shut. Unable to do so, move McDuff into the 9th spot, that time off of turn number 4. But Shepard says not quite yet as he's hugged up there. Gary Eschen right there behind him as well. Is the top 8 cars all single filed out. That's the best battle on the action now. Eschen underneath the 89 of Shepard. Shepard stuck on the outside of this very long and lengthy conveyor belt.
Yeah, Shepard has got nowhere to go. He's going to have to hope to find a gap as soon as he can, but each one is immediately getting filled by the next driver as soon as he gets past here. And now he has got Josh Cole underneath him. Cole fighting hard to get past the 89, but Shepard trying to hang on. He's hoping for maybe a mistake from Cole. Just behind them, look who else is on the high side. Brandon Elvis just got past Josh Nelms, I believe. And he's trying to make some more improvements here. 3 wide coming off of turn 4. Shepard right up to the wall, having to lift off there. Chad McLeod able to sneak through, and now Brandon Atkinson looking underneath the 89. Brandon Elvis right there with him, trying to see if he can take that spot as well.
And up front is a good battle for the number 2 spot as Bryan Hacker has worked underneath the 00 of Donaldson. These drivers have been side by side for the last couple of laps as they work down here into 1 and 2. That time Hacker's going to dispatch of the 00 of Donaldson, but outside lane, Kelly, starting to look a little sporty out there. You can at least hold on a little bit to the outside, but the inside lane still is where you want to be. But now Donaldson trying to hold off the 12th of Rodney Huntoon. As Huntoon trying to get underneath there, and those first 3 cars now all teammates as they have the 77 of J.J. McCrae and the 90 of Dylan Connor. Remember, he won his 5th of the season Al Speed Shop Fast Time Award here in our qualifying here tonight. So right now the 6th running car of Dylan Connor, he's trying to make it up there as everyone chases Scott Austin, who has led it since the green flag is dropped.
And J.J. McCrae still working around on the inside of the 00 of Donaldson. He's now going to get himself free. Oh, not quite, actually. Donaldson still keeping a nose there coming off of turn 2. Donaldson trying his hardest to hang on, but he is going to lose the spot now. And immediately that bottom lane is filled by the 90 of Dylan Connor. Connor looking to improve that position just one more time here. getting up past the inside of that 00. And Donaldson now going to have to try to slot in, and he will get in right behind the 90, try to throw the door shut on Dan Janjanin, who is maybe trying to see if he could get his nose in there, but just too much of a gap for him to get in there and fill and block out the 00. So Donaldson goes from second place and winds up in 6th when he's finally able to get back to the bottom.
Able to get that to the bottom there, right in front of Janjanin. Janjanin runs back there in P number 7. He's lost 1 spot since the green flag has fallen here tonight. As we look out the front now of the 00, and I tell you, these first 5 cars all bumper to bumper, all behind Scott Austin. A little bit deeper back in the field here. We watch the 54 of Elvis. He'll work underneath the 72 of Atkinson, and that'd be a miss here, Kelly, if we didn't notice Justin Coleman unable to make the call here tonight after a very rough bull ring 1 week ago. He came in second in the standings, so this is really going to shake up the overall driver standings here after we leave Martinsville.
And Dylan Connor going to be still, or came in here 20 points behind Bryan Hacker. He will effectively take over the battle for the championship with Bryan Hacker. So that is the big gap to watch, is the gap between the 90 and the 2. And right now, Bryan Hacker sitting in a good spot, a number of spots ahead of Dylan Connor. And now looking to make it even better, looks to the inside of Scott Austin. Austin slams the door shut on his own teammate, but Bryan Hacker looked like he wanted to just throw it up the inside going into turn 1.
And Hacker doing running a little bit higher of a line into the corner, trying to get that momentum. Takes a peek down low once again. Will he have the spot? He does not. He has to slow it down just a little bit. But Hacker studying his teammate, the 5 of Scott Austin, trying to figure out a way around him. JJ McRae. Oh, a little bit of bumper tag as McRae and Connor make contact behind the 12 of Huntoon. Good save by McRae as he got turned a little bit sideways with a little bit of the Martinsville bump here in turns 3 and 4. 1 lap ago as you see the field all single filed out. Donaldson starting to close back in on the 90 of Connor. Hacker would once again a crossover move off the corner. Will it stick this time? He's at the left rear quarter panel. Will we have our first lead change of the night? We will, and Scott Austin wisely hits the hooks and falls quickly back in line in spot number 2.
Yeah, Scott Austin saw the big gap behind Bryan Hacker, knew that if he just hit the brakes a little early, he could get right in behind Hacker and save himself from the fate that took Rob Donaldson a little bit further back in the field. So instead of trying to hang on the outside and allow Huntoon to come in and close that gap, Scott Austin made a smart call to just move back for now, and maybe he can make another challenge a little bit later on. But now Bryan Hacker free and clear in the front of this field, and he's going to try to run away from this and try to open up as big of a gap as possible. His championship rival all stuck in the field now.
That they are as they work down here. And we just got past a note that we've got close to over 40 spots taken. Plenty of spots left for you to get involved with tonight's waffle for the Kendall Hacker Scholarship Fund. You can do so by claiming your spots with the North-South Racing League and send it over using family and friends options to northsouthracingligue@gmail.com, and it'll get you all squared away. And we'll do that drawing, I believe, we were told next week live on the broadcast, as long as those spots get filled up. But a good chance here tonight to raise some money for charity and a good cause is for Kendall Hacker, who's, well, his dad, or her dad, up at the front of the field right now after taking that race lead away from Scott Austin back on lap 28.
Yeah, but we have still quite the stack up for third place here. JJ McRae had taken a peek to the inside of Rodney Huntoon a couple of laps ago, was not able to get anything done, and now he has been under pressure from Dylan Connor for the last few laps. Connor making some good runs into the corner, but just nowhere for him to go, and that's allowing Rob Donaldson to also have a peek at trying to see if he can get past the 90 as well. So a lot of tight racing here, a lot of drivers looking to make their move, but also being quite wary about it because they know if they step out of line, get themselves into a bad position, they can drop like a stone to the field.
that it will is these drivers are all playing that chess game. And Kelly, you got to remember, they are going to have to probably pit for at least fuel here tonight. I'm not sure how much tires are going to come into play, but they're going to have to come down this pit road for yellow flag. Is Chad McLeod making a move? Is Dustin Shepard as they all chase it back up here? Looks like Shepard may have had a little bit of issues with that 89 car, but they are about, 3/4 of a track behind the race leader. As race leader is going to start to get into lap traffic. That's really when things get dicey. But these pit stops, I believe, are going to be right around lap 50 if this stays green. There's a lot of throttle time here taking these cars around the racetrack.
Oh, battle for third as JJ McRae gets to the inside. They're 3 wide going into turn 3. Huntoon and McRae were banging doors down the back straightaway. Dylan Connor tried to seize an opportunity to go to the high side. Now Rob Donaldson gets to the inside of the 12 as well. He's going to try to sneak up on the inside through 1 and 2. Dylan Connor trying to find his opportunity. He ducks down to the bottom side between, caution going to come out here. And it is Gary Eschen up in the wall.
Possible right front tire going down on the 23 cars. He comes to a stop, trying to get it. So now he'll take the tow back to Victory Lane. Not Victory Lane, into the pits is now your front runners coming down pit road for the first time here tonight.
Yeah, nearly everyone coming down pit road, but it looks like Rob Donaldson and Dylan Connor electing to stay out, so that will be an interesting situation. Robbie Clavey looks like he's staying out as well. So those drivers will be on worn tires, but they have elected to go for the track position.
But you're going to have to come down for fuel at some point, Kelly. There hasn't been a lot of yellow flags to save on there, as Rob Donaldson, like you said, out there getting a bonus point for leading a lap, but you would think that fuel is going to be an issue here.
Yeah, these drivers are going to have to keep an eye on their fuel gauge. I think these guys may be gambling on a caution later on, or maybe just a number of cautions to help them stretch the fuel out. I don't know what the fuel numbers are looking like, if these guys maybe have the opportunity to stretch it all the way to the end, but Donaldson, Connor, and Clavey all making a strategy call here. As actually, I think Clavey may have now come down pit road, so he has thought better of it. Donaldson and Connor, though, have stayed out.
So they will stay out. Bryan Hacker out there. He'll be the first car off of there. As they are in the choose cone presented by Mad Plowing. First 3 cars, I believe, stayed to the inside. Kelly, what would you do?
In regards to choosing which lane?
Yeah.
I think I would choose the inside unless I see the opportunity to gain like 5 or so spots by going to the outside, because it is a very risky play. If you cannot get to the inside immediately, you are just going to drop all the way back, and it is a tough call. But Bryan Hacker is elected to go for the outside. He thinks he can maybe get a spot on Dylan Connor, and maybe with those fresh tires, he may be trying to hang around the outside of Rob Donaldson.
It'll be interesting to see. Well, we're going to find out if tires do make a difference. At least here you can take 4 tires without really losing a lap under yellow flag.
Well, pace truck is down and away. We are going to get back under green flag racing conditions here in just a moment. Watching the 00. When is he going to fire? He hangs on a little late, and he is going to get a good jump there. And so is Bryan Hacker. A big gap to the 90 of Connor, and he's able to slot down in front of him. Perfect start for the 2 car. And as well, just behind him, the 77 of JJ McRae. He's now going to take a look to the inside of Dylan Connor, trying to get his nose up the inside into turn 3. Connor able to hang on, but he goes a little wide off the corner. Still gets a good run out onto the back or the front straightaway. Once again, JJ looking to the inside, but cannot get close enough just yet. Scott Austin able to slot him behind him. So then it is Scott Negus, Rodney Huntoon hanging on to 7th, and then Dustin Shepard once again stuck on the high side.
Shepard up on the outside. He's got Atkinson going underneath him. Then it's the 54 of Brandon Elvis. Underneath him is the 20 of McDuff, the 90 or the 09 of Cole. Adam Gable up to the 12th spot, or 13th spot, excuse me, as we watch that battle that's still side by side. Shepard up the racetrack once again. Might have had a little bit of a helping hand there. But that's going to move Brandon Elvis inside the top 10. Kelly, after starting last, here is well before the halfway point. He is making some moves here at the Martinsville Speedway.
Yeah, Brandon Ellis is shuffled up there a little bit from the pit stops and from the choose cone, but he has now found himself in the top 10. Let's see if he can continue clawing his way up through the field. Brandon Atkinson took a look at Rodney Huntoon there coming through 1 and 2, but there was nothing there for him just yet. Bryan Hacker still all over the rear bumper of that 00 car at the front of the field.
And Donaldson there. And right now, if you're Bryan Hacker, you know Donaldson has not pitted yet. No, he's going to have to come down. He's on older tires. How hard are you pushing him right now? You got a little bit of a gap back there to Dylan Connor. Obviously, you want to be out front. As I say that, he takes a look to the inside, tucks it back in line. Nothing doing that time on the front stretch. As now he'll come to the inside. If you're Bryan Hacker, how hard are you pushing Donaldson right now at this juncture of the race? You know he's got to come down in front of you. Is it more of watching that mirror, trying to get away and start to space yourself from a fast guy behind you like Connor?
Yeah, it looks like Bryan is trying to make the move, and he is going to force Rob Donaldson to stay up the racetrack. Donaldson going to exit on the high side down the back straightaway. He is not going to get clear of the 2 of Hacker. Hacker going to have that inside position going through 3 and 4. Dylan Connor trying to close up, trying to get his nose to the bumper of Donaldson before Hacker clears him, and looks like he'll be able to do so. Hacker still not quite clear of Donaldson. Connor slowly closing in. Donaldson needs to either get ahead of that 2 car or hit the brakes soon, because he is going to lose a lot of ground if he can't find the bottom, and those spots are all filling up. Hacker now almost completely clear of Donaldson, and Dylan Connor completely at the door of Donaldson, and he's now actually going to get through and past Donaldson. And Connor nearly coming up a little bit too high. Body check to the 00 going into turn 3. That's going to shuffle Donaldson up the racetrack. That's going to allow JJ McRae through, and now Donaldson in trouble once again. He is stuck on the high side, and he's got nowhere to go.
Nowhere to go as Donaldson up on the outside, stuck there as they work down there. Scott Austin trying to pedal as fast as he can. He's bringing the double nickels of Scott Negus. Negus quietly moving up through the field. Started back in P number 9, sits in the 6th spot. He's got some fast company behind him. Huntoon, Atkinson, and don't look now, but last week's winner, the 54 of Brandon Elvis there as well. Atkinson right to the back bumper of Huntoon as JJ McRae still there underneath the 00 of Donaldson. And I'm quite impressed with those older tires, Kelly, how well they're holding up as Donaldson still fights back on the outside of McRae.
Donaldson trying his best to fight around on that high side. He's actually going to gain a little bit of ground on the high side that time. There may be a lot of heat building up on that inside lane. There's definitely a lot of rubber. You can see how dark it is through the corners. But Rob Donaldson is not wanting to give up the position. He's wanting to hang on to 3rd, maybe hoping for a caution to save him while he had his nose ahead, but that's not going to happen. JJ McRae now gonna get a lot of ground in on that inside. This time through the corner, Donaldson may lose the position entirely. He's gonna have to try to find the bottom before the 5 car of Austin gets there, but Donaldson continues to fight instead. He's able to gain some ground on that high side, but never quite enough to get himself ahead again. Oh, the 12 of the Huntoon gets sent around off of turn 4, and our 3rd caution flag of the night is going to fly.
That it is. That might be a godsend for Donaldson as he was struggling up on it. Well, not struggling, but able to hold his own. But Huntoon goes around off the front bumper, I believe, of Brandon Atkinson. And everybody going to come back down pit road this time. This time, everybody coming down pit road as we take a look at this yellow flag.
Yeah, you see the 12 going around turn 4. Brandon Atkinson just gets up into the rear end of Huntoon and sends him spinning. Looks like there's going to be no damage to any of those race cars. Huntoon going to be able to continue on as well. He's actually not going to come down pit road, so Huntoon is actually going to go from getting spun to the front of the field.
So Huntoon stays out. And now we'll come pit side.
So that means Bryan Hacker will take control of the race lead still here as we come through on this caution period. Dylan Connor sitting in 2nd. JJ McRae exits pit road in 3rd. But we know as soon as we come to that choose cone, it is going to shuffle the field up so much once again because that inside line's so dominant. You want to be there. But there is a gamble if you want to try to go for the high side, and things still getting a little shaken up. I'm now seeing Donaldson passing the 90.
Yeah, it looks like, did Connor get a pit road penalty? I am not sure. It looks like he's holding out there in 4th. As the field comes down the front stretch, and it is time for the choose. Your first 3 cars at least go inside. Scott Austin, the first one to the outside, and look at that, Brandon Elvis jumping to the outside. I was just about to say, if a bunch of guys go to the inside, what's it hurt to jump to the outside? You might be able to get down in front and gain some track position, and that might be what the 54 of Elvis is thinking.
And I think Dylan Connor got a speeding exiting pit road penalty, and I do not know how, because I believe he's the first pit stall, or the very last pit stall on the pit road. So somehow he has got himself a penalty. He is going to be stuck in the back of the field here. So I do not know what happened to that car, but I think he just kind of gunned it a little too much trying to beat out Bryan Hacker.
A tough break for another fast driver. He talked about it in the J&D Farms Top 8 redraw, Kelly, how last week a mistake cost him. This week, a mistake here right at the halfway point of the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125. Still some time to get there, but tough sledding to get back through the field.
Well, green flag going to be back up in the air. Bryan Hacker getting a big jump there on the inside, and it is going to be good news for Scott Austin. There's a big gap for him to drop down in front of JJ McRae, so he is going to be able to jump up a few spots, get himself into 2nd place. JJ McRae holds on to 3rd. Rob Donaldson now will sit in 4th place as he was able to get a good start as well. And look who's right behind him, the 54 of Brandon Elvis. He has made his way up through the field. He's now holding on to a top 5 spot.
That he is. Justin Elvis there, Rob Donaldson. How about Justin McDuff, Justin Cole? All these drivers. McRae putting the business to Scott Austin. That's the battle for the 3rd spot, or the 2nd spot. JJ McRae right to the back bumper. Gave a little bit of a shot. Donaldson to the back bumper of McRae now. Everybody, the gloves are starting to get loosened up and might come off as they work down here. Lap 66 about to go into the books. Cole looks to look underneath the 20 of McDuff. McDuff able to hold off now. Elvis to the inside. Action all over this half mile.
Brandon Elvis able to get to the inside of Donaldson going into turn 1. They're going to be side by side coming off of 2. Donaldson able to get a good run on the high side, not enough to get himself clear and back down in front of Brandon Elvis. Elvis trying to make his way up through past Donaldson. Donaldson able to hang on to the outside. He's probably been the best one on that outside lane, but that is not saying too much because that outside lane is a struggle. It is not able to do much of anything here tonight. So even though Donaldson is doing the best he can out there, it's never going to be enough for him to really get himself clear without that inside driver making some sort of mistake. And now Donaldson is going to have to lose that ground to the 54 car, and just behind, oh, Donaldson getting the wall off of 2. And now Justin McDuff looking for his opportunity to get underneath the 00. And as they go into 3, he may get that chance. But coming off of 4, Donaldson getting a good run, going to get himself clear of the 20. Not going to drop down and defend the spot, though. And just in front of them, JJ McCrae looking to the inside of Scott Austin.
Yeah, McCrae with another look to the inside. Can't do anything with him just there. Austin slams the doors shut. Meanwhile, that's allowed Bryan Hacker to start to get away just a little bit over Austin as McCrae once again with a look to the inside. Has to hit the brakes. Almost got loose there. McCrae all over the back bumper of Scott Austin trying to make something happen. Can't quite get there as we go on board with the driver. JJ McCrae started back there in P number 5. Currently runs in 3rd. He is trying to make something happen to get around Scott Austin as he sits there in 3rd, holding off Brandon Elvis back in 4th. And what a masterful piece of driving that the 54 has done. Yet it's probably aided just a little bit by some of these yellow flags in this choose cone, but doing a great job keeping that car clean here at the Martinsville Speedway.
It is always the biggest thing you need to do here at Martinsville. Try to keep yourself clean and keep your car in good shape, because it is easy to get that thing banged up. We've seen all those different pictures over the years of race cars, how they look after an event here at Martinsville Speedway. It looks like a brawl, and we're seeing these drivers trying their best to keep it clean, but even though they're trying to stay respectful, there is still some bumper tag going on out there.
Yes, there is, and we've seen it all the way through this racetrack. Rodney Huntoon has recovered to a 14th spot now as he was on the back, as he was the recipient of our last yellow flag. Now McCrae to the inside. McCrae down to the inside underneath Scott Austin. They will race down here in the turns 3 and 4. Up in 8 tires, turn better than 4, they always said. But Scott Austin with a good drive on that outside, able to hold on to that spot. At some point, when does the patience start to run thin as the 54 starts to put pressure on McCrae?
Yeah, McCrae trying to hang on to that spot as the 54 looks to try to open up the corner. Oh, he's getting turned by Donaldson off of the corner. And Rob Donaldson gonna send Brandon Elvis around. Elvis looked like he was trying to open up the entry so that he could dive off of the corner to set up a pass on JJ McCrae, but that really just opened the door for Donaldson to try to stick his nose in. And that is gonna be a bit of a reset for Brandon Elvis. He's gonna be way back in the field now.
Back to the back of the field once again. Oh boy, let's take a look and watch this one over again. Came in behind, went to the high side. Donaldson rolls the bottom there, and just ever so slight contact, and Donaldson did not get off of him in time. In the 54, close to the performance of Brandon Elvis. Will have to do it again from the back of the pack.
So Brandon Elvis going to have a much harder time here tonight getting to the front of the field towards the end, and he's got much less time. We've seen him make the charge, but he's going to have to make it quick here, and he's going to have to take a gamble pretty much any time we come to the choose cone. He's going to have to take the outside, try to jump as many spots as he possibly can here. and try to see if he can get at least salvage some points here, because he is in the running for the championship. He's got himself a decent spot. He came in tonight 5th place, tied with Scott Austin, minus 29 from Bryan Hacker. And right now, Hacker looking at a very good finishing position right now, along with Scott Austin right behind him.
Yeah, we can take a look at those point standings real quick underneath this yellow flag, as you are alluding to. So it's not over with yet. Still quite a bit of time left to go in these choose cones, which are happening right now. Is the Mad Plowing choose cone, and JJ McRae going to choose the outside. So you can definitely make some moves here to get back towards the front of this one. But a tough break for that driver of the 54. Looks like he's going to restart about 10th, it looks like to me, Kelly. Maybe 12th.
Yeah, he has jumped up quite a bit just by choosing that outside lane, so already he has made a ton of ground up, and we'll have to see how well he can find that bottom lane once we get back to green flag running.
Take a look at your race data here tonight. Lap 81 of 125. Your current race leader is Bryan Hacker, where we've had 4 yellow flags for 17 laps amongst 4 different lead changes here tonight in the Kendall Hacker 125 for the Mortensen Auto Repair late model stocks, as they head into the restart zone. The field gets ready to go green flag racing, and Hacker jumps on the gas pedal first. JJ McRae, Scott Austin side by side. McRae going to try to use that outside momentum. Austin draws even. Door handle to door handle down the back stretch. McRae to the outside has about a half a car length on Austin. We've seen that outside have a little bit of spunk there. Will McRae be able to hold on, or will Austin get by him? Donaldson down to the inside underneath the 09 of Cole. So Donaldson will take that spot, and McRae fighting for his life for that runner-up spot.
JJ McRae trying his best to get around Scott Austin, but still side by side there coming off of the corner. He's hanging on pretty well on that high side, so high side maybe a little bit better right now just because that inside line is probably fairly hot, so that the outside lane might have just a little bit more grip here, and that's allowing JJ McRae to just hang on for now. Unfortunately, that gap behind the 5 is closing up. Rob Donaldson getting closer and closer to the rear bumper of the 5 machine. So if JJ McRae cannot make this pass happen on the outside, Scott Austin is going to block him out. But oh wow, good run down the back straightaway. JJ McRae nearly got clear of the 5 down the back straight. Let's see off the front. Can JJ get another good launch off that corner? Gets a good run once again. Not quite gonna get clear though into 1.
No, works that outside, rolls it pretty good, as the yellow flag will come out once again, as Brandon Elvis and Brian Troyer have gone out to bring out the yellow flag once again. So as the night just continues to get worse for last week's winner of the 54 of Brandon Elvis. So he'll catch the back of the field. Let's take a look here and see what happened. Elvis was on the outside of Dan Janjanin this time, running inside the top 10, came down across the 2 and around he went. And I believe Troyer in that Waffle House 36 car just comes to a stop to avoid contact. So Elvis in the spin cycle once again.
Yeah, Elvis not giving Jan Janin much warning. He got himself clear right before the braking zone, dropped down in front of him, and immediately got on the brake. So basically Jan Janin saw his braking point just disappear in front of him. So tough one to call. I mean, it is a car going to the back of another car, but I don't think Jan Janin had much of a chance there.
No, that's why we're up here, Kelly. We don't have to make those calls. We just call it.
Yeah.
It is tough, though. I mean, an elite, you have it. You almost have to hope that the driver that you're passing isn't going to anticipate that the door being closed on them, right? You know, it's one of those things that we've seen Jan Janin out here long enough where we know that he's not that type of racer, is Robbie Clavey and looks like Brandon Elvis coming down pit road. And at this point, why not? We're closing in on 35 laps to go. You're going to have much fresher tires. Though not sure tires really make that big of a difference right now, but we will find out.
Yeah, I mean, our leaders that have not come down pit road since lap 59. There are a few that came down on 77. So it may be a tough call here and maybe a challenge for these drivers. But, I mean, they'll get a little bit of an advantage, and any little bit helps them right now as Brandon Elvis and Robbie Clavey will get themselves back onto the track. We're going to come up to our Mad Plowing Choose Cone. And unsurprisingly, Hacker picks the inside. JJ McRae going to take the inside this time. Does not want to be stuck on that high side. But Scott Austin and Rob Donaldson electing to take the outside.
Justin McDuff jumping up onto the outside as well. So we'll see how this one's going to shake out. Kelly, who's your money on at this juncture of the race?
I think Bryan Hacker, he's got the lead. It is a tough track to pass on, and he has not shown himself to be have any sort of weakness here so far tonight. I think it's really Hacker's to lose. He would have to really make a mistake to allow someone else to have an opportunity.
I don't disagree with you. I think that's there. But, you know, McRae's been aggressive here tonight. He's going to start there right behind him. His car has seemed to be pretty good. How about Justin McDuff up inside almost to a top 5 run? He comes in sitting 7th overall in the standings here to this season at after tonight, the halfway point of the late model stock series presented by Mortensen Auto Repair. Halfway done, another 5 races to go. Green flag is up, and we are back underway, and a good restart that time by Hacker. JJ McRae unable to get a good start, but he'll drive it down deep inside of Scott Austin. Austin rolls the outside. Can he get the same runs as McRae was getting as Justin McDuff tries to find the spot down low? As all eyes are on the number 2 spot. Austin up the racetrack. Here comes McRae. He's trying to get into second. Can he do it? And how about Josh Cole? He's been quiet here tonight, Kelly, in that 09 car, but he works underneath Rob Donaldson for the 4th spot.
Yeah, Josh Cole been getting himself up through the field here, up 13 spots, our biggest mover of the night, and now has a front row seat to this battle for second place, a mirror of what we had on the last restart. JJ McRae on the inside this time, Austin on the outside. Both these drivers pitted on last at the same time. So Scott Austin not going to have much of an advantage. He may have taken more the extra set of tires here based on the pit times here, but JJ McRae hanging well on that inside. JJ cannot quite get the pass finished yet, and they're going to lean on each other now going through 1 and 2. Scott Austin going to get a run coming off of turn 2. Not going to be enough, though, into 3 as JJ surges ahead once more on entry.
On entry, but that momentum on the outside carries Scott Austin back to that number 2 spot. And right now, more contact. McRae up the racetrack. That moves Austin up the racetrack. McRae with about a half a car down the backstretch. Scott Austin surges back on the outside. He'll draw even, leaning on that door panel of McRae. McRae is now, the yellow flag comes out once again. As it looks like Brandon Atkinson in trouble, as yellow flag will fly for the 6th time here tonight for the Kendall Hacker 125.
It was actually Gable getting turned around there. I don't know what happened to Atkinson as he dropped, I think may have dropped a connection there, and his car has still disappeared. He may have also
Incident pointed out.
I think he got hit, maybe hit his incident point limit.
Let's take a look back here and see. Is the 90 Connor gets into the 91, and they keep it going back in the right direction. Gable is saying, hey, I didn't quite appreciate that. But let's see. Atkinson running on the outside of Justin McDuff when the yellow flag comes out. And Kelly, I believe it was maybe a loose wire on the 72, and that car, as you alluded to, just disappeared.
Yeah, I mean, we both thought for a minute that it was the incident point limit, but I was taking a look there. It doesn't look like he got into anyone. I can't see him getting an incident point right before he disappears. So just unfortunate for Brandon Atkinson, as he was having a fairly decent run there, and now his night is going to be over. He's going to join Braden Campbell and Gary Eschen as drivers who are out of this event.
It's been an entertaining race so far. Would you agree, Kelly?
I mean, it's Martinsville. There's always going to be action here on the racetrack, and we are going to come to our choose cone once again, presented by Mad Plowing. Bryan Hacker, unsurprisingly, looking like he's going to go to the inside, and so is JJ McRae. I think he is liking that inside lane. Once again, Scott Austin going to go to the high side. Josh Cole taking the inside. Dustin Shepard, once again, attempting to make that outside line work. He's going to be up there in the second row. And then after that, it is looks like Josh Nelm's going to be right behind him.
So there, and look at the 54 of Elvis making his way back up, but he's chose that inside lane here, coming to about 26 laps to go. It'll be 25 to go when we go back green flag racing here tonight. Bryan Hacker, Scott Austin front row, then is JJ McRae, and how about Dustin Shepard with a nice rebound, Kelly? We saw him stuck on the outside of the conveyor belt early on in this race, kind of fell to the mid-pack, but now finds himself sitting with a chance at a podium here tonight in the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125. Josh Cole with a good run, and how about Josh Nelms and that 00 cracking up into the top 6 for the first time here this evening.
Well, the pace truck once again going to dive to the safety of pit road, and Bryan Hacker going to have control of the field coming through 3 and 4. Hacker going to fire off immediately out of turn 4, and that is going to give an opportunity for Scott Austin to get a good start as well. As soon as they cross the start and finish line, he can move down, and he'll move in front of the 77. This time there will not be a battle between those two cars at the start of this green flag section here, as JJ McRae now has to focus on defending from Dustin Shepard. Shepard was also able to find that bottom lane immediately, again, which is a great relief for him. And now he's having to hold off Josh Cole. Josh Cole getting pushed through the corner by Donaldson, as Donaldson is trying to defend against Josh Nelms to his outside.
And Nelms tags that outside Armco as he's got the 20 of McDuff with the Mooses loose on that 20 car, trying to work underneath them. And he's got Scott Negus back there in 9th, and Brandon Elvis running out your top 10 as Nelms gets turned sideways, and hard contact, Adam Gable. And it looks like the rear end might be knocked out of that 91 car after that hard contact. And I believe that all started up front, maybe with the 20 of McDuff. I'm not really sure, in the 00 of Josh Nelms. Let's take a look back here and see what we can find. Got down in the corner, and Nelms just hung a left on the right front quarter panel, and it was stacked up behind him after that. Let's go on board with Rodney Huntoon. He was back here deep. You see the stack up starting in front of him, and Huntoon nowhere to come in. Hard contact to the left rear quarter panel of Adam Gable.
A few cars just coming in there hot, especially Rodney Huntoon. That was a heavy hit for him. And Gable we see down in pit road. He is still down there trying to get some damage fixed up. So he is going to go at least one lap down in that 91 car. So unfortunate ending of the night here for Adam Gable. A few other drivers coming down pit road as well, Chad McLeod and Brian Troyer. I think the other drivers were able to keep going, and one guy that kind of snuck through that was Brandon Elvis. Nearly got himself turned around through it, but he was able to slip around on the high side. He continues to hold on to the last of the top 10 positions.
Yeah, he did a masterful job there. He got touched a little bit by the 00 of Nelms, and you got to wonder after a couple of those spin cycles, how close is Elvis on the incident level or incident point limit? We talk about that week in, week out. These drivers have so many incidents or run-ins or off-tracks that iRacing calculates for the league, and they set a cap on that. Once you've hit that cap, it ends up being a back of the field penalty in the following week. Not only that, but you also finish where you finish in that race. So tough break for some of these drivers as we get ready to go into that choose cone presented by Mad Plowing once again here, as the choose cone comes on up. No big surprises yet, for me at least, Kelly, on this choose.
Now, a lot of drivers seem to have figured out where they want to be here at the tail end of this race. So Bryan Hacker to the inside, Scott Austin to the outside, then JJ McRae, Dustin Shepard, and Josh Cole for the top 5. Rob Donaldson going to be alongside him, and then we have McDuff and Brandon Elvis.
Taking a look high above the Martinsville Speedway, another grandstands packed show for the late model stock tour. We're glad to have you here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. Hopefully you're enjoying tonight's show, as we got all tuned up by Mortensen Garage to get here, to get ready to go racing with you here tonight. And it's been a spectacular one. That pay window starting to get greased up though, Kelly. Patience running thin. Everybody wants that grandfather clock.
Yeah, we are spooled up, ready to go. Bryan Hacker going to get the jump once again, coming off of turn 4. As they cross start finish line, he's going to immediately move up to the high side, and now Scott Austin going to slot himself down on the bottom there in P2. Dustin Shepard going to be stuck on the high side, does not have a gap. Look at Brandon Elvis just behind them. Oh, contact with the 77, and that is going to send the 89 sideways. Cars scrambling once again, and I see Negus facing the wrong direction.
A tough break for Scott Negus as he sits there in the wrong direction. Elvis involved once again as he tries to get pointed back in the right direction. It looks like Dylan Connor's 90 car has gone pit side. I'm assuming that he got the incident limit, as he was involved with that as well. What was the famous word? Cautions breed cautions?
Yeah, especially at this stage of the race, no one wanting to give an inch here as we get into the last few laps of this. 125 laps scheduled. There is one green-white checkered that is available for these drivers if they cannot get it sorted out here within the scheduled race distance. But it is Martinsville. It is definitely a potential for this one to go into overtime.
And just taking a look here, Kelly, at this one as the yellow flag was to come out. Looked like the 89 of Shepard got in the corner hot, got in the back of the 77, who got back into the 5, and then everyone else got involved with that one. So a tough break for Shepard, who was running inside the top 5 at the time of the incident. Well, we got a moment. Let's take a moment and we'll pay some bills.
Premier Racing Setups is the longest running setup shop on iRacing. Our monthly subscription options start as low as $20 a month. We offer setups for dirt oval, asphalt oval, and road racing, covering a wide range of cars and skill levels. Built and tested by top-tier sim racers, this isn't just a business, it's a community of competitive drivers. If you want to better your iRacing experience, head over to PremierRacingSetups.com today. And remember, if you don't get one, you're going to chase one.
Welcome back here to the Turn 3 Racing Network as we are watching the closing laps of the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125 presented by for the late model stock series presented by Mortensen Auto Repair, as they have gone through and done the Mad Plowing yellow flag choose cone. And your top 5 all shaked up. How about Brandon Elvis? He has been spun around more than a bottle at a teenage party here tonight, and he sits inside the top 10 after starting rear of the field here tonight, Kelly.
Yeah, still looking to have an opportunity for a decent finish. Got to wonder how many incident points he has, though, here. He's got to be getting up close to it, but we've only got a few more laps here to go. When we go to the green flag this time, it'll be 10 to go. Bryan Hacker still in control of this with his teammate alongside him. And then we have JJ McRae and Justin McDuff looking to improve their spots. And the 2 is going to launch off of turn 4 once again. A great start from Justin McDuff, but nowhere to go as he gets right up to the bumper of Scott Austin. Now coming into turn 1 here. Drivers all nose to tail, jockeying for position, trying to get those last spots. Here comes Brandon Elvis looking to the inside. Cannot quite get there on Josh Cole as Josh Cole sends it up the inside of the 20 of McDuff.
Okay, took a look to the inside. 9 laps to go. Cole has it. McDuff trying to make a move to the inside. Brandon Elvis quickly going to fill that spot. Is up front is Hacker, Austin, and McRae, your top 3. Now Elvis to the inside underneath the 20 of McDuff. That's the battle side by side. McDuff with a nice run to the outside. Will he have him clear? It looks like he does, and he's going to cut down low. And now Elvis swings to the outside. He says, let me try the outside off of turn number 2.
He's not going to have it. Josh Cole, though, in front. He's going to have a good run to the inside of the 77 of McRae. Cole going to be side by side with McRae coming off of 4. McRae up the racetrack. McRae getting a good run, though. He'll have the spot at the line. But Cole, sending it through the inside, gets up into the 77. And I think that was just Cole coming in a little bit too hot, though. Both drivers able to stay pointed the right direction. Neither losing much ground in that contact, though.
Okay, so a little bit of a block there from McDuff as he's watching this battle, trying to figure out where to go. Elvis trying to gain 1 spot inside the top 5. Still contact between Cole and McRae. Now McRae going to slam the door shut on the 20 of McDuff. McDuff down shallow as well. Now the 54 up the racetrack. Donaldson going to get by as the 54 must have wheel hopped into the corner. McRae crosses it up into turns 1 and 2. Cole up the racetrack. The battle for 3rd is where it's at as they work down here with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, Josh Cole trying to hold on. Josh Cole gets turned around, sent up the racetrack. Caution to come up as all the cars check up, and a number of cars removed from the race as well from the incident limit before they even stopped moving. I think I saw 2 of them taken out.
Yeah, I believe that was Justin McDuff, Dan Janjanin, Brandon Elvis, and McRae. Oh, a tough break. McRae out of this one as well. A lot of our top 5 runners here tonight. Ooh, Kelly, next week, I don't even know if there's going to be enough drivers to do a redraw.
Yeah, a lot of drivers taken out of this one. This is going to be the biggest incident point race here for the entire field, as we've got a lot of drivers taken out. Some drivers that weren't even involved in the incident voicing their displeasure with the track itself. So a lot of action for us to watch, but the drivers are not enjoying the stop-go action.
That they are not, as we look on board with Bryan Hacker, who is up front on this one. I bet you he's liking the show so far. Came in as the high point man, has led 84 of tonight's 125 laps here. And I believe we're going to be going into overtime for the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125.
And yes, we will. It just came across here. We are going to do the green-white checkered. It is only 1 attempt at the green-white checkered. We have got just 11 cars left on the track. A number of drivers taken out from damage, a few taken out from incident point limits. So there is just 11 cars still out there on the lead lap. So Bryan Hacker, Scott Austin, Rob Donaldson, Josh Cole, Josh Nelms, McLeod, Clavey, Negus, Shepard, Troyer, and Sweeting, your remaining cars.
Finish first, you first must finish here tonight, and that has been tough to come by as they are into the Mad Plowing Choose Cone. I'm not sure where we are next week, Kelly. That slips my mind, but I'm sure the drivers are thankful to get out of Martinsville.
I believe next week we'll be at the Nashville Fairgrounds. So another tight short track, but a little bit more space than here at Martinsville, and hopefully we'll have a little bit more opportunity for some side-by-side racing and not have everyone trying to fight for one line.
Well, at least we're going to have a week to simmer the tempers down before headed to another short track, High Bank Southern National Motorsports Park. So that'll be an interesting race in 2 weeks' time. We hope to have you here on the Turn 3 Racing Network. But tonight, we need to settle out who is going to win the Kendall Hacker 125. Bryan Hacker and Scott Austin up at the front of this one. The 09 of Josh Cole. And Rob Donaldson making up row number 2. Josh Nelms and Robbie Clavey making up row number 3 as the green flag is back up. We are back underway. Green-white checkered attempt here as they work down here in the turn number 1.
Rob Donaldson trying to make it work on the outside there. Josh Cole getting a good run off the corner, but he was a little bit too close to the 5 of Austin. Wasn't able to take advantage of the opportunity. Donaldson getting into turn 3 a little bit too hot. He ends up sliding up the racetrack, and that provides an opportunity for Nelms here as the white flag does finally fly for Bryan Hacker.
Hacker has to make it down the backstretch one last time. One more set of corners for the Now I Lay Me Down to Sleep number 2 of Bryan Hacker. He is going to win the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125. Scott Austin will come home second. How about Josh Cole? He finishes in spot number 3. Rob Donaldson in 4. Josh Nelms rounding out that top 5. What a race.
Yeah, a good finish there. Rob Donaldson and Josh Nelms were door to door at the line, and it was a blink of an eye that separated those two cars for the 4th position.
They will come down here on the front stretch as Bryan Hacker will back the car into victory lane. Kelly is already out the door as he will head to victory lane to chat with the number 2. Remember, if you want in on this raffle to help benefit the Kendall Hacker Sponsorship Fund, you can contact the North-South Racing League via their Facebook page or just send them. It's $5 for a spot, or you get 5 spots for $20. All this going to charity. North-South Racing League at gmail.com is where you can send that fund. Or if you just want to donate to the charity, that as well is all important and allowed here tonight. But it has been Bryan Hacker who leads 90 plus laps here tonight to come home victorious here in the Kendall Hacker 125. And Kelly, I believe you are standing trackside with the number 2 of Bryan Hacker.
Yeah, here now with Bryan Hacker. Bryan, a bunch of fireworks throughout the field, but you seem to be just kind of cruising off on your own up at the front.
Yeah, it's too bad that it kind of turned into what it did, because it was fun while the long runs lasted. But at the end of the day, I'm happy to bring home the win. Didn't get this one last year. I finished second in the Kendall Memorial and really wanted to get the win this year. So glad we were able to do it.
I mean, how much does it mean to you to be able to come home with the win at the Kendall Memorial?
It's pretty awesome. I mean, like I was saying, these guys put this thing on, and it's not something we asked for. It's something that they want to do, which is pretty neat. And it's come a long way. Last year, raised a lot of money. We were able to turn that money into helping pay for another funeral for, unfortunately, another child that passed way too early. And we turned some of that money into donations at the hospital that we were at. And this one means a lot. And we were able to bring my now 3rd and youngest daughter just joined us a little over 2 weeks ago, so it's kind of come full circle from last year.
Well, next week we're going to be moving on to the Nashville Fairgrounds. I'm sure you, among a lot of other drivers, thankful to be putting Martinsville in the rear view. But I mean, what are you expecting out of Nashville?
I've always liked Nashville. I run pretty well there. It's tough in these cars. It gets tough to pass. So coming from the back next week is going to be no easy task. But that being said, it is a big track. You're on the throttle a lot, so we are certainly going to have to pit. So I'm going to have to try to use pit strategy to my advantage to get up to the front and then see if we can be there to mix it up at the end.
Well, Brian, I am sure you're well aware of how this works here tonight. We're going to give you the microphone, and who would you like to thank for your win here tonight?
Yeah, first and foremost, again, thank the league for putting this thing on, and not something that we asked for. They did it last year and asked me if it was okay to do it again this year, and I thought it was pretty touching and cool for these guys to care enough to want to make this thing an annual tradition. So appreciate everybody at NSRL that does this, you guys for doing it, and helping raise awareness, and it's just fun to be able to say my daughter's name because. The longer we go, the easier it is to forget, but my family certainly isn't forgetting. So it's cool that she has a legacy in more ways than one. And beyond that, thanks to Scott Austin Designs coming home 1-2 tonight makes it even more special, and he's running the Kendall themed colors too, which is pretty cool. Justin McDuff had a good run going until he didn't. I think that could be said about a lot of guys in here. Same with Rodney, and last but not least, certainly thank everybody that helps us put this league on. So Mortensen Auto Repair, Arbor Tree Systems, ZooFab Garage, J&D Farms, Mad Plowing, Al's Speed Shop. I think I got all of them. I always forget one each week, but it's good to have to remember them because that means we're talking to you.
All right, well, thanks for coming out and talking to us, Brian. Hopefully we'll hear from you in 1 week's time out in Nashville.
Thanks, Kelly.
So Bryan Hacker bringing home the win in what seems to be a very meaningful race here for him here tonight, Al.
I would agree, and like you said, it's very nice for what this league has done, what it continues to do for them, and we hope that viewers out there want to get involved and help with keeping Kendall's legacy going. Gone way too soon, and we are a big racing family. But we will move down the line here to the second place finisher here tonight, which I know this race means a lot to him, being a good friend with Brian, and it will be the driver of the number 5. Of Scott Austin, who runner up, and Scott, you held him off there at the beginning of this race. What else did you need out of this 5 car to maybe get up one spot higher and put this car in victory lane?
Yeah, it wasn't for lack of trying, that's for sure. We just didn't need all those restarts there at the end. I felt like we were really good. I know Brian was saving his stuff quite a bit, but I feel like if we could have pressured him long enough, maybe forced the very rare Hacker mistake, but we were going to give it all we had. We did anyways. I'm pretty happy with the P2 finish.
How difficult was this racetrack here tonight? We saw the outside where guys could get there, you could kind of hang there, but wasn't quite able to make that pass. How difficult and how frustrating is that when that driver just is kind of hanging out there? We saw you have a great battle with JJ McRae and a few other drivers when they were hanging on that right door of yours.
Yeah, that was spirited with JJ for sure, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, shout out to him for racing clean. It was a ton of fun. And it's frustrating, like I said, with all the restarts and things that we dealt with at the end of the race. Kind of just forces you to just stay in that position, whether you get good runs or not. If you know another one's coming, you can't use up all your juice on the first one if you got 5 more to do. So it's a card game, a chess match. So yeah, it's frustrating, but it's all part of it. And at the end of the day, this is why we race. It's fun.
Well, you're going to come out of here with a second place finish. Going to help you out in the standings here. Some of the drivers that you are battling with at the halfway point of the season, not having quite the race that they were hoping for. We look at the back half of the season. It gets kicked off next week at the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Good track for this team, or is that going to be a track that you kind of just going to get through?
I think it is if we could start up front. That's another one where two lines sometimes become apparent. That bump in two is pretty gnarly, so that catches people off guard as well as the turn two wall, and it can create some carnage. So hopefully we'll stay in front of it.
All right, sir. Well, we look forward to seeing this number 5 car, and we'll see what beautiful paint job you throw on her next week. But a good night here, a good run in the Kendall Hacker Memorial 125 and going 1-2 with your teammate. What's that mean to you?
Yeah, that was super cool. Really, really cool of the league to keep this thing going. For Bryan and his family, I know that this means a lot. So, really cool to be a part of it. Really cool to finish 1-2 with the matching paint schemes a little bit here, and just cool to see. Hopefully, we can keep doing it.
All right, so we'll roll the red carpet out. Who makes it all possible for you?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to thank Papa Austin. He's supposed to be kind of semi-retired, and he just can't stop. He just works every day, puts in a lot of work, and I really, really appreciate that. So shout out to Papa Austin. Finish Line Home Improvements, Austin Designs, the league for putting on a great one, and again, keeping this whole Kendall thing alive for Bryan and his family. Really good group of respectable guys here. Shout out to Arbor Systems, JD Farms, Mortensen Auto Repair, Med Plowing, Zoofab Garage, and ARC C2 Promotions as well. For putting this whole thing together. Thanks to you guys for putting on a good broadcast.
Thank you, Scott, and thank you for taking the time to talk with us. Go enjoy this one, and we'll see you next week in Nashville.
Thanks, Al.
Scott Austin going to come home runner-up, Kelly, and then you are going to catch up with the Arbor Systems hard charger of the race, and you are standing by with him right now here on the Turn 3 Racing Network.
Yeah, catching up now with Josh Cole. And Josh, you had to come from way back in the field for this top 3 finish. And what was it like having to make all those passes here at Martinsville?
It was tough. I mean, you have a lot of good drivers in this league. So, yeah. Patience also.
And when it comes down to the choose cone here, I mean, how many times did you roll the dice? What was kind of your strategy coming to each choose cone during these cautions?
Really just paying attention in front of me, just watching the numbers, and really just seeing who's behind me that I can beat off the turn if I went high side. But really mostly was just sticking to the bottom, especially late in the race, because I haven't been finishing real well, a lot of DNFs, so I'm like, I'm good with just finishing 4th or 5th, but after that final restart, when he kind of went high at the last minute, it kind of helped me out to finish 3rd.
Well, next week we move along to the Nashville Fairgrounds, and what are you expecting out of that track for yourself?
That's a pretty good track for me. I like that track. But it's real tough with these fixed setups. It's real difficult with me trying to figure out the steering ratios and stuff like that. And plus, the competition that you have with this league it's really good.
All right, Josh. Well, thank you for coming out and talking to us. Before we let you go, we're going to give you the floor. Who would you like to thank for your 3rd place run tonight?
I want to say sorry for the loss for the baby, for Bryan. I want to thank the sponsors that sponsor this league. I want to thank everybody in the league. This is one of the best leagues I usually race in, and I enjoy it. Thank you. And thank you for you guys, too.
All right, Josh. Well, thanks for coming and talking. And once again, hopefully we'll hear from you next week in Nashville.
Thank you.
Was Josh Cole, our 3rd place finisher here tonight. And as Al mentioned, our hard charger of the night, coming up from way back in the field, starting in 17th and finishing here in 3rd.
Teddy Will, and a great run here tonight for those 3 drivers. How about Rob Donaldson and Josh Nelms rounding out your top 5 as we pull up the standings here tonight for what was a great race. Turned a little bit rough, Kelly. I wasn't quite expecting that. I'm not sure about you, but we knew that, Martinsville, it could happen. You get greased up here with a lot of shakers and movers as Bryan Hacker climbs that ever so closer to another championship here at the late model stock series for the North-South Racing League. Man, what a great race. We saw a lot of comers and goers. We feel bad, those drivers that, got caught up in other people's stuff. It's very frustrating. There's going to be some frustrated drivers leaving Martinsville.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that is just how Martinsville races, though. It's a lot of tight, close quarters. I mean, we were talking about it even before this race started that tempers may fly here. Things may get a little heated. And even if drivers are trying to stay off of each other, it's just so easy to get caught up in a stack up and send another driver around. And a lot of drivers voice their displeasure of this track. So we'll see if we'll see it again next year. But if these drivers have their say, I don't think we'll be seeing Martinsville anytime soon.
That I would agree. I mean, Martinsville is one of those tracks. It's a great track. It puts on a good show, but it does lead to some tempers. Everyone will put their cars in the box and head a little bit west as we head to the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway for next week's running for the North-South Racing League. But we couldn't do it at all here for the Late Model Stock Car Series, especially for the running of the Kendall Hacker Memorial. Remember, he mentions that the league, get involved, get your spot here for the 50-50 waffle, I guess it's 75-25 waffle, and help out a charity in Kendall Hacker's name. We hope to see you a part of that. He mentions the league to find out how you can get involved. Mortensen Auto Repair, the main repair shop that all these cars will head to after tonight's racing. RC2 Graphic Solutions, your events, our designs. ZooFab Garage. SimRacerHub.com. Arbor Systems. J&D Farms. Mad Plowing. And, of course, Al's Speed Shop. Kelly, well, that'll do it for another night. Next week, Nashville Fairgrounds is going to put on one heck of a show. We hope to see you all tuning on in. For Kelly Dahl, the great hockey player from the Northwest, I am Upstate Al, and we'll see you in Turn 3. Good night, everybody.